Ace hates it here more than I do. He hates it here more than I do. So we're gonna make this super quick. Today we're just gonna focus on the courts. And then I'll run a video tomorrow on the jail. These are not putting not a lot of effort into these ones because I'm just disappointed in how the whole situation was handled all around in our fucking justice system. The Constitution, the fucking Constitution of the United States of fucking America, no one gives a fuck about it in this fucking city. In this fucking place right there, they don't give a fuck about it. They got this ex parte rule that's designed to create a safe protection in a dire emergency, and it's a useful tool in theory, but it gets abused. Because I'll grab it actually, because this is the time to fucking read this one off. Fucking on the Honorable Lisa Langton. The Honorable fucking Lisa Langton has filed one of these ex parte orders without hearing. The fucking checkbox on number 1 doesn't even have the option for have a hearing. Most likely because it's just a easier save on ink to leave it off on the rubber stamp. And all the boxes are checked without hearing. Petitions filed ex parte, which should be entered without notice because irreparable injury, loss, or damage will result from delay required to give notice, or notice itself will precipitate adverse action before an order can be issued. Now, isn't that fucking something? So, this is filed because irreparable damage or loss, fear of life and limb. And all I did was send an email or send a text message with me talking about my ex-fiance's mom being ugly. That's really all it said. Is that she abuses her daughter and that she's ugly inside and out. And I'm not proud of it. It's not something that I like doing. Reminding people that they're who they really are when they play make-believe and destroy people's lives. But this Lisa Langton, this honorable judge, honorable, said ex parte, because I said she's ugly. That means this needs to be filed ex parte because she might die in Lisa Langton's eyes. And it's not set up like, okay, let's file it ex parte, get it done real quick just so he knows, and then we'll have a hearing to figure out what this order should actually be, figure out what's going on so we can come to a resolution and keep our community safe. No, they just make things fucking worse. Lisa Langton goes and fucking be's a dirty fucking cunt piece of shit and files this fucking thing ex parte out of Oakland County saying I'm not allowed to fucking exist in this person's world. And she put an option on their C. I'm not allowed to purchase or possess a firearm. Now my Second Amendment has been stripped away with no hearing, without hearing, ex parte, because I called the girl ugly. You don't have a Second Amendment right. Lisa Langton has decided. The Honorable Lisa Langton, the Honorable Lisa fucking Langton, out of the 6th Judicial Circuit Court of Oakland County, Michigan. Case number 2024-527468-PH. No fucking Constitution in the United States of America. You call a girl ugly, and Lisa Langton, girl power, they stick together. Don't forget. Don't you fucking forget it for a fucking second that they're gonna stick together and fucking. Now I don't have a Second Amendment right. I don't have a First Amendment right to redress grievances. I don't have a Fourth Amendment right to be safe and secure in my bodies against unreasonable abductions. I don't have an Eighth Amendment right to be protected from being fucking put in this box over here because I delivered a fucking coffee machine to her husband. Or should I ever want to talk to somebody that was a close friend of mine for the longest time? Because some girl in their life has decided, an ex parte personal protection order, a restraining order, because some dirty cunt that's the mom or wife of somebody that I was been friends with for just the longest fucking time just cared about. I just lose fucking friends because these women are just... And constitutional rights, because like I said, these fucking courts here, they don't give a fuck about it. They do not give a fuck about the Constitution. They give a fuck about their authority. That's what they give a fuck about. And the first day Kenzie comes in, just all fired up. Energy level was high. She couldn't contain it and was crying. It wasn't like a victim I'm afraid crying. It's like I'm so emotional because I lied and destroyed this guy's life, and now he's talking about it. And now I have to face him, and I don't know how to do it or what to do. And then after all that chilled out, and we went from my lawyer bailing because I called him out for not making the case, for saying he's not going to make the case, that these ex parte orders stripping me of my Second Amendment right and my Fourth Amendment right and my First Amendment right without me having a chance to face my accuser, with no real due process other than she paid a judge the right amount of money to get them to rubber stamp an order, and then whether the Constitution it's in agreement with any Constitution, Michigan or U.S., is irrelevant because even the judge said it. It goes from ex parte rubber stamped order right to a show cause hearing to sentencing, and there's no, what was it? I wanted to challenge the validity of the PPO and redress the grievances is what I asked to do in court, because it's an unconstitutional order. And the judge said those are reserved for pretrials. For pretrials is what he said. And I got to get the transcript of it to just be certain on all of these things that went down. But he says those are in the pretrials. But you don't get pretrial for a personal protection order. They rubber stamp it. They collect their paycheck. You pay off a judge. You pay their company, their corporation, money, and then they'll give you protection. And then with that protection, you get to hurt somebody you don't like. You get to send a judge and police officers to hurt somebody you don't like. You don't even have to do it yourself. You get to be a doctor and just pay off the right people and do good paperwork, because that's all you're fucking good for. It's just fucking doing paperwork and counting pills to poison your neighbors and boss your fucking family and friends around, or else. And the judge said it. There's no pretrial to challenge these things. There's no path to finding peace and resolve in Bay County, in the state of fucking pure Michigan, because it's just an assembly line. These lawyers have been trained to create rules and regulations. And I talk about it a few times because I will get this book at some point. But the Gorsuch, the Supreme Court judge, wrote a book. I saw him advertising for it on one of the indoctrination mainstream media channels, one of the state's indoctrination. Anyway, overruled. People are breaking stupid laws that are created by pencil pushers that don't care about anything but fucking sticking to fucking process. And there's no reasoning and no rationale behind any of their decisions. They don't even think about it. They don't even have to think about it. She paid us the right amount of money to file the paperwork. We rubber stamp all of these paperworks. If you violate this, even if it's if I would have mailed it to them, to Wade, then it wouldn't have violated the personal protection order if I would have paid a mailman to go deliver it. But because I delivered it and didn't bother anybody and just dropped it off on their doorstep under cover of night, ensuring that no one was bothered, no one saw me, no one had to deal with me, just the same as if the mailman would have delivered it, but better because I took good care of it. Not that the mailmen here don't, but anyway. If I'd had a mailman deliver it, the point is if a mailman would have delivered it, then I wouldn't have violated the PPO. But the technicality, it says I'm not allowed to go on her property. Although it takes into no consideration anything, so I'm not allowed to go to St. Stan's Festival or the Munger Potato Festival. I have to be afraid at the 4th of July that she might see me and then I'll be violation of the personal protection order and she can call the cops on me. And who knows where else she can spot me at and be like, oh, she had a feeling she didn't like someone she hates. She had to see and hear from somebody she hates and always hated. Look he's angry because she destroyed his life because she hates him. And he talked about it. So now we gotta throw him in jail. Now we gotta throw him in fucking jail. The judge made it clear. They created a rule. And when a judge creates a rule, there's no checks and balances from the executive branch or the legislative branch to challenge it against the Constitution. What a judge says is final. They have complete, total dictatorship of Bay County in their eyes. And the law enforcement, the sheriff, I even chatted with him, has deemed it fucking so. If a judge signs a piece of paper, if they rubber stamp it without looking, which is what they're doing in this fucking town, just rubber stamping everything, the sheriff in this town has decided that's good enough for him. His hands are wiped clean. He collects a paycheck. All his people collect a paycheck and human traffic the bad guy and create more strife and disconnect and pain in our community because sure Kenzie gets to be happy and gas herself up and have a good laugh at how she got me thrown in jail because she's a dirty fucking cunt, a soulless, evil fucking bitch piece of shit. And her fucking family just plays their fucking games. Girl power, you know? So... anyway, back to it. So the court was just a fucking sham. It was just a formality to fucking pretend like you did a job. Because everyone in there but me was getting fucking rich as fuck. Everyone in there but me was getting rich as fuck playing this game that they play. The system. Just getting rich off the system. Being fucking drug dealing, human trafficking scum playing a fucking game of legal mumbo jumbo. No care about liberty and justice, the Constitution, everything America stands for. The marketing scheme that they get you to believe and pump into your head as if it's real, but then when you go in and you actually hang out with these people, you realize they don't give a fuck about it. They went to law school to make a shit ton of money, and how quickly and easy can they put as many people in jail so they can collect as much money as possible and everyone can have a job and prosper as the good guys. Team good guys. And then I wrote a few letters to the judge when I was in jail, which we'll talk about here as well. And they were awesome. They were fucking awesome. I'll show you. I have fucking notes on this shit. It all got sent back too. I don't have. Oh, we'll talk about that in a second. This is what I got here. This is what I do when something's important. I take these notes and I'm in a really emotional state. So my first set of notes have fucking aggressive language, and then my first draft. Fuck you says that a few times in it, and this one was 8 pages, where I got a nice outline of what I wanted to say and how I wanted to phrase things, but it was still not good enough. And then another outline right here. Was my second draft. So I have notes, a first draft and a second draft, and this one ballooned up into 10 pages. And then I have a third draft. Which ballooned out in 12 pages, which was closest to resembling the final draft. So I ended up doing notes to keep track of everything, and then a final 3 drafts and a final draft. I wrote it a lot of times over and over again to make sure it was perfect. And then the fucking Bay County courts here, again, like we're talking about, they sent back all of my letters. Saying that it's improper to send correspondence to the judge. He will not review or consider this correspondence, and no action will be taken. Says, court is unable to consider such ex parte documents unless the court will take no action with regard to the document submitted. And that's just a load of fucking crock of bullshit. This ex parte order is, they take it to a whole nother level. It's just a whole nother level of fucking bullshit that they're just doing all the fucking time. How easy can they make their job? One after another. It's not let's get this person in as fast as possible so we can hear their case and understand what's going on, so we can create boundaries that are reasonable and create a stable community. No, it's fucking. We'll talk about it again. These guys in the jail, we're talking about how these judges don't even have to fucking sign it anymore. It's just it's a click of a fucking button, and soon it's just gonna be like Tinder app. Just swipe right on all of everybody. Just straight to jail. Ex parte straight to jail. And so I wrote a note. And I'll try to remember exactly how I wrote it in the other one, but nobody cares in big letters. Nobody cares. Yo, and in parentheses, ex parte Judge Joe. Do you find it interesting that ex parte, psychopath, and tyrant all share virtually the same definition? Which is true. It means they only care about what they want to get out of it. what one person wants to get about it with no regard or give a flying fuck for how so the pain and suffering and the damages caused to the other people that are involved in this dirty cunt's lying fucking scumbag game. Nobody gives a fuck about that. A girl paid the fucking right person money to fucking get somebody to hurt me, and she gets to fucking get the win because she's a doctor and they're fucking lawyers and judges that fucking care. The good guys, the heroes of our fucking community, the fucking heroes. Nobody cares and I'm all alone is what I hear in the cries of the damned. And I hear it all the fucking time. I have nobody. I have no one. I have no one. You'll tell me I have Ed and Carolyn because Mom shows up once a week to be on a video recording with me. And she'll use my credit card to put money on my phone account so I can call her when I need help. And run a few errands while I'm in jail. And take me out to breakfast every now and again, which is great. It's nice to have that, and I do not want to complain about it or act like it's not enough, because it's just fine. But I don't have anything more than that help really support from anyone. So when I say I don't got nobody, it's not that I don't have certain people that provide certain pleasures in life and support here and there in their own special ways. But what I needed was a lawyer. What I needed was somebody that could speak reason to a fucking judge and a prosecutor to say this is fucking bullshit. Let's figure out what's really going on so we can make peace in our community. No. How do we cycle this guy here so we can fucking collect more money off of him and fine him every fucking day and have him rack up a $700 bill on top of all the other bills that I paid while my bank account went into the fucking negative and my credit card got blocked. Because Kenzie Engelhardt cares about me. Because Kenzie Engelhardt cares. Because she's a wonderful person, a doctor, a pharmacist, the good drug dealers of our community that cares about her, everybody. She's such a wonderful fucking person. So the second paragraph says a full criminal sentence to a person nearly perfect to every lawful and unlawful order for a momentary lapse of judgment on a non-violent civil offense where every precaution was taken to minimize any disturbance to the parties and your corporation's unconstitutional order, which is just a mouthful that says I didn't fucking do anything worth of fucking getting a full misdemeanor criminal sentence for a fucking civil offense and have to go through your little experiment monitor Luke and how he fucking responds to gangbangers and violent criminals and undercover cops and criminal informants and other Illuminati members that are trying to infiltrate my life, and see how Luke responds to all of these people. I don't even know if anyone was fucking real in there. Sometimes it just felt like it was a theatrical show put on just for me, like a reality TV show. Like the fucking Truman Show, except for my fucking bubble was not a big giant dome of planet Earth. It was just a tiny jail cell. But anyway, that just feeds my craziness, because obviously nothing like that's going on in our community without Constitution. Anyway, so then I said, for what? Was it really, as you said, for the purpose of protecting a negligent judge's signature? And aid and abet Ghislaine Maxwell with the full force of your for-profit company's protection? over anything more than letting her hide from the truth, and the Sixth Amendment under the cover of deceit to perpetually and indefinitely prevent peace and order in our community, which perpetually this fucking guy said I project myself as a perpetual victim, and he made it clear that he's decided I am not that, and he said it with emphasis and it's really hard to define that perpetual victim status, because obviously if you're born with a pussy, you just get to say, I was born a victim, or if you're black, you're born a victim, so you get to be perpetual victim. Like, Kenzie's always the victim and did nothing wrong. She's a wonderful human being. Just ask the judge and her aunt. They'll tell you how great she is and how she's Little Miss Perfect that does nothing wrong ever. And if anyone calls out a girl and says girl's bad, well, that person obviously needs to get put in jail and be silenced. So the perpetual nature of it is history repeats itself. History tends to repeat itself. And there's this crux I haven't been able to figure out that is going to continue to make this hell of mine a perpetual nature. A never-ending fucking story. The song that doesn't fucking end. It just goes on and on. My fucking friends, I fucking swear ya, they started singing it not knowing what it was. Yeah, but the people, they know what it is. Kenzie knows what it is. She's just playing a fucking game, and she knows how it works because she was trained in it. The fucking doctors and lawyers, they're trained on how to manipulate this system to hurt people. She's a trained drug dealer, so she's trained on how to manipulate people, how to spot manipulation tactics, and how to use people to get them on her drugs so she can get rich. That's what she's trained to do. How do I use this system to enrich myself in the system and make the system more money? By poisoning the people around me with words, ideas, and drugs. Kenzie Engelhardt, the good guy. So if history's going to repeat itself, because it only takes one thing that I've ever done wrong, and it doesn't even have to be something I've done wrong. It's just what girls decided why Luke's not good enough. Whatever reason Kenzie decided I'm not good enough is the reason that I can't be fucking happy. Why I can't be stable, why I can't have a fucking future. So until I figure out that fucking crux of how you get a dirty fucking soulless cunt piece of fucking shit to fucking be a decent person, because I told everybody, I asked everyone for help. I fucking told Wade, I told her cousins, I told her she fucking hates me and she's always mean to me. I don't know what to do. Please help. I asked everyone for help. Her aunt, her uncle, fucking asked so many fucking people. And no one's got any help or even gives a flying fuck. Kim just hides, gossips, and weaves a web and plays puppet master behind closed doors and doesn't have the fucking spine or the courage to put me, her, and Kenzie in the same fucking room so we can figure out what really fucking happened is going on. 4 fucking years ago when I asked you guys for fucking help, before it came to you guys being fucking cunts playing this stupid fucking game. So, perpetually and indefinitely, because every relationship ended the exact same way. Some dirty fucking cunt like Kenzie decided that she was going to make her life all about destroying my happiness and destroying my relationship so that she didn't have to hear about me. And she's now the good guy hero that was protecting her friend from a 4, 6, fucking 20-year relationship because she doesn't like me because she's just a dirty feminist cunt. Man-hating drug dealers. Lawyers and fucking doctors, because they care. Women, you know? They're never fucking mean. Kenzie was the good guy and hero, you understand? So anything she did that was mean, we're just going to rephrase how we actually want it to be seen by everybody, so that Kenzie's the hero and the good guy, and the man is destroyed because the man's the bad guy. That's how it works in America. So perpetually and indefinitely, because that's all it took. I've been known this guy since fucking kindergarten, and all it took was this dirty fucking cunt of a wife to come into my fucking house and say, I'm not welcome around anymore because no one likes me because I'm an R. Kelly pedophile, and that she's not going to let me welcome in her house anymore for anything other than slave labor. And she's told everyone she didn't do it, and everyone just plays along. And it doesn't matter anymore even if she did do it, because I said mean things about girls months, years afterwards, and obviously everyone made it about Kenzie because Kenzie's the boss and the center of attention, and she's the world revolves around Mackenzie. And how does Mackenzie feel? So anyone that I had couldn't even talk to me because we had to make sure Kenzie felt good. And so, as long as it takes to fucking, she can destroy. It's like the girls that I've been with that were my best friends in the whole world. That's why I stayed with them for so long. They were great, and they ended it because they wanted to enjoy their hoe phase and be sluts for the street. And you can't be with somebody you actually love and be a slut for the street. They're two different energy systems. So you have lust and then you have love. Love is a positive, higher vibration, higher frequency, and lust is a negative, low vibration, base level, negative energy. So lust is a need and the desire to have something that you're lacking, and love is abundance and having and wanting to give out that abundance. So the game is with the hoe phase is try to find a way to destroy the admiration and the reality of the relationship. So this one girl on one of these podcast shows was talking about how she's enjoying her hoe phase after a 12-year marriage. She's enjoying building the connections with people in her hoe phase. She's referring to it as a hoe phase too. No shame in her game. It's like the phases of this girl's life in her mind. It's just a natural phase for all girls to go through, and they really should start explaining it better so that they can teach their daughters and their sons how it works. Because it's mostly single moms out there. Well, anyway, there's a lot of whores and single moms out on these streets. You get them into that negative state and the negative vibration with the person they love, their husband, their boyfriend, their fiance, and you get the girl upset about whatever you can get them upset about, and you sexualize them because they're just fuckboys. They don't care about each other. They just want to catch the vibe and pass the vibe around, and so they have their talking points. And these people, she talks about having a connection and building connections with these people, but they're all based on the same trauma bonding bullshit. And then be nice to me, and if you give a girl the right vibe, and then you pass this level in the stage, so then you can get to this base, and then she'll let you feel her up, and it's just the slow process that you just take a girl along until she'll let you fuck her, and then she's done. Then you're all done with that connection, and you move on to repeat the same template or something slightly different with a new pussy. And so you have to destroy the relationship with the person she loves, turn it into a negative emotion directed at the person she loves and is loved and is always taking care of her. For whatever you can conceive of that can destroy that relationship and that bond that she has. And then once she's destroyed, now she's in mostly just survival mode and just in pain and suffering and wants all the pain to go away. And who's there? The fucking fuckboy. Boom. That's how they win. That's it. That's super easy strategy. to get a fucking dumb slut to fucking turn from fucking caring and loving to hating and lusting. That's how it works. You care and you love and you do nice things for people, or you lust and you crave after changing them and doing whatever you want to do and don't give a fuck about the person you claim to fucking love. And that's the difference between lust and love, which we'll dive into more at the end of the series here. Back to the letter. I'm only on page fucking 2. Then an extra 10 days for congratulating Ghislaine, who defrauded and made a mockery of your court? Or was it for saying, I'll see you soon to my brother after your egregiously erroneous pontificating? Or maybe your demand I give up because you've decided it's over was a lawful order from a judge who has no checks and balances from the executive branch you see as foot soldiers in your army with no authority to contest a judge against the Constitution. And that's just fucking spot on with the mindset of these fucking clowns. It's like, first we'll talk on, I'll see you soon enough. That's what I thought I said to Wade. And my mom said that she heard me say, I'm coming after you next. And I usually rely on my own memory for these things because my memory is quite good. Not that my mom's memory isn't good, but I usually rely on mine when it comes to people telling me what I said and didn't say. But I come for you next doesn't make sense because I was never coming for Kenzie in the first place. She put herself in the middle of everybody. She made herself the center of attention and put herself in the middle and made it all about her. I've always wanted the guy that I've been friends with since kindergarten, was the best man in his wedding, to talk to me again. And the other friends that I had to fucking talk to me about what's actually going on and stop playing Kenzie's fucking game. Stop playing her game. And me begging them to stop playing her game makes her the center of attention even more. And it's all about Kenzie. It's all about fucking Kenzie. And I call Wade my brother because I've just been closer to him than anyone in my entire life. So he's played a more significant role in my life than the only three girls that I dated for a long time. Other than that, they were much better friends than he was. Not that he was a bad friend in any ways, other than he lets people like his wife and friends of his fucking treat me like shit. He doesn't have the fucking decency to fucking put an end to it. Call out people for being shitty fucking cunts to me. No, he demands I forgive them. They do piece of shit things to me, but they're justified in their eyes because, even Stevens. And so I have to forgive everybody that fucking violates me. And it's not that I don't necessarily forgive them. It's I know what they're capable of and who they are as people. And we're not even Stevens. I'm not even Stevens with any of these people who think we are. And so Wade doesn't give a fuck of the violation that his friends and his wife and other people cause on me. But he's not doing the violations. Other than breaking promises to me because his wife's demanded he do it, he hasn't violated our relationship. And that's why our bond was so strong. We just always looked out for each other's best interest until he decided that whatever his wife wanted and whatever feeling she had trumped his word and our friendship. Which, not that it didn't necessarily need to trump it, because they're married, so it should, but there should also be some sort of rationale in it. It's like, she's just a dirty fucking angry, hateful cunt that just wanted the person she hates not in her life anymore. And we could have figured out a better boundary than the one that the government and her family has created. Of you just are in exile because Kenzie's the queen of fucking hearts, so fucking off with your fucking head. You don't make her happy. She says you're not welcome around because she's decided she hates you, and now she's going to make sure everyone around you hates you so that she doesn't have to deal with you, and you're the bad guy. And if you talk about any of that, if you talk about a girl being mean, then the government will throw you right in jail if she files the right paperwork. And so to break that down, I may not have said I'll see you soon because then again my uncle said that he also heard me say I'll see you soon or I'll coming for you next. And so when two people confirm that, now I'm taking it serious that I don't really know for sure what I said. And he then changed his tune and said maybe it was just the tone that made it sound like that's what you were saying. Because my tone was aggressive. But either way, it doesn't matter. I'm still working on figuring out how to make sure that relationship, once I rebuild another relationship better than the one I had with Wade, then we'll figure out how to make sure history doesn't repeat itself of a dirty cunt doesn't like you, so she's going to destroy your life, and there's nothing you can do about it but just deal with it, because happy wife, happy life and all. America. Once I figure out how to not get somebody that I rely on for whatever I rely on these people for a future with these people, and to not betray me and stab me in the back. Once I figure that out, then Wade can be off the hook. But until then, he got a front row seat. He got a fucking front row seat to watch his cunt of a wife destroy everything that made me happy and pretend like I'm a bad guy because she doesn't like me. And everyone's just playing her little fucking game. I'm just going to keep talking about my side of the story. Even though the judge said right here, please note the court is unable to consider such ex parte documents. The court will take no action regarding the documents submitted. So if you file this ex parte, if she files it, pays the right government ex parte order, a judge rubber stamps it without looking, with no hearing, no due process, no facing your accuser, just rubber stamps it, and it's ex parte. Now anything I try to petition the government to redress anything, no. Ex parte means we've already made a decision, and it's unreviewable. It's unfucking reviewable. It's done. You're gonna follow these unconstitutional orders, or we're gonna fucking lock you in jail for 3 months or more, or however long they can fucking hurt me for, because they do not give a flying fuck about anything but their fucking money. Ex parte, that's what it means. They only do it caring about what one person, how it affects one fucking person, and no one's allowed to talk about it afterwards but that person. They're the only ones that are allowed to chat with the government. So she gets a government lawyer to strategize with, and she gets to make her case, and what I get to make my case is show cause. Did you do it or did you not do it? Were you on her property for 5 seconds and didn't bother anybody? Yup, you were. All right, that's 93 days in jail, plus 10 for saying congratulations to her. Because that violated the PPO as well, because I spoke to her. I don't know, I probably was in court at the same time as her, so that was violation as well. I'm surprised I didn't get punished for that too. It's hard to tell with you people, but it seems a bit excessive. A good lawyer would have protested. He fucking called the lawyers that fucking were not good lawyers. He calls them good lawyers. They will refuse to make constitutional arguments and tell the fucking court that they're fucked up in the fucking head not doing it right. Whatever lawyer way they want to fucking say it, they won't do it. The first lawyer said, do you know how many judges are filing ex parte orders? All of them, bro. I know all of them. We both agreed it's all of them. They're just rubber stamping these things. If they're doing a fucking ex parte order on me and taking my Second Amendment right away, Jane fucking whatever that fucking cunt's name in Oakland County, as she takes my Second Amendment right away because I call the girl ugly without a hearing, personal protection order, Second Amendment rights stripped away from you. You go to jail if there's a gun within 50 yards of you. That's possession. Within like 50 feet or 50 yards of your area, if there's a gun in that area, I'll be charged with possession if a cop sees me. There's no Second Amendment right because you call the girl ugly. And no hearings. So they're doing it for everybody. And I can't get one of the good fucking public defenders to say, hey, wait a second. You took away his Second Amendment right because you call the girl ugly? Maybe we should review these things and come to a reasonable conclusion on what the stipulation should be. Maybe just don't text her anymore and stop calling her ugly, and then we'll be cool, and then we don't have any problems. No, let's go overboard and put him in jail for 93 days for delivering a fucking coffee machine to the husband of the devil. Your ignorant lecture will prove I may have been the only one not playing the role of a fool. In a game of make-believe, a lying girl's pretend feelings and her hate supersedes the United States Constitution, humanity, peace, liberty, justice, and all the other blah blah that's disregarded in these arbitrary ex-party PPOs paired with arbitrary punishments, which we get into about the Federalist Papers, one of the ones that Alex Hamilton wrote about having a jury trial in civil cases to prevent these shit judges from just being pencil pushers, verbatim language, and say, wait a second, let's get a group of people to see if this guy's guilty or innocent. And even then, when you do have a jury, the goal of the judge is to stick to, let's not make a reasonable argument on whether or not he's guilty or innocent due to the Constitution. No. Stick to the talking points that the judge wants you to say so that he can put this person in jail as the bad guy and be the good guy and collect a bunch of money and use all these people as pawns in his little game of, look at me, I'm the most prestigious guy in town. So ex parte, I redefined it in the end because ex parte is spelled EX space PARTE, but I spell it EXPARTY because that's all it really is like I said, your ex can't go be in her hoe phase and a slut on the street if she loves a man and cares about his happiness and respects her husband and her fiance and her boyfriend. She can't do those things at the same time. She has to be in the negative vibration towards the person she claims to love so that she can justify being a slut for the scumbag piece of shit fuckboy at the bar that's just running a fucking game on a dumb slut until he takes her down the vibe path of building the connection so they can have a nice orgasm climax and then not talk to each other hardly ever until they're lonely and everyone around them thinks they suck because they do suck. So they really don't have anybody in their lives but these pieces of shit slut scumbags that don't care about anybody but catching the fucking vibe. And it's just a whole fucking a cycle of over and over and over again on repeat. No real different than being in a marriage where it's the same cycle on repeat over and over again. But marriage tends to be based on love and has, like I said, the soul, a positive energy in the soul. You live life better and happier. You're more at peace. You're more inviting good, positive energy into your life. And when you're lusting and trying to catch that vibe and ride that wave, then you're in the negative vibration constantly. And that's why you're suicidal and hateful and angry at your family and your friends and yourself. and now you're taking drugs and go back into the same cycle of do the same shit over and over again that got you into it. And then I was talking to one of the girls in the mental institution. One of the students I was teaching was talking about how when she was with her therapist, they came to the conclusion that she's comfortable in the negative emotion. That what girls tend to do is, especially my sister did it all the time, she just fire off being a dirty fucking cunt, venting, she called it. And then my mom would be mad at both of us because Jessica was upset. So now Luke's getting yelled at for. Luke doesn't have to do anything at all. Jessica just lies relentlessly. She's such a terrible person. Not all the time. I just don't want to pigeonhole into it. It's just towards me. Towards me, it's always 100% of the time. She's always awful to me. She's either using me for something and pretending to be nice so that I'll do stuff for her, or she's abusing me and getting people to hurt me so that she can have fun and feel good and play a game of psychopath. And to that point, anyway, distracted. X party, like we said, it's your ex now gets to party because she doesn't have to face all the shit she did. There's no hearing, there's no face your accuser, there's no coming to a resolution. Nope, she wants to go be a slut on the street, and if she made promises and commitments to you and you show up at the bar, well then you're in for it because she no longer loves you. She wants to just fuck the newest fuckboy that's giving her a vibe and do all the drugs and have fun riding that rave. And that's all she cares about now. She's Beyonce. Queen Bee. Empowered women. Now she's in her hoe phase. And she loves getting gassed up to have the nice climax and call her ex narcissist and not good enough for X, Y, and Z because the fuckboy is at the bar, run game on her, and her girlfriends gas her up to make her feel what she wants to feel. So they take away all of those suicidal and hate-filled feelings when she's out with them and gas her up with bullshit ideas so that they fucking feel the vibe they want to feel together. And now she only feels good when she's getting gassed up by her feminist cunt friend or the drug dealing pimp at the fucking bar that runs the same fucking game on each dumb fucking cunt over and over and over again. A team of fucking frat boy douchebags running the same game over and over and over again. Or a feminist cunt like Kenzie knowing how to fucking poke holes and cause fights and arguments like Ghislaine Maxwell. If you watch the Ghislaine Maxwell trials, I didn't watch them, but I heard that's what all the women that testified said the same thing. She got them to hate their family and be mad at their family and isolate them from the people that they loved and cared about, so that all they had giving her good ideas and telling her she's the victim and that they're going to protect her because Ghislaine Maxwell cares about her, because Kenzie cares about me and all of her friends and family and loved ones, so much so that she made sure I'm not welcome around ever again. So arbitrary punishments for arbitrary crimes. I've delivered a coffee machine. It's an arbitrary ass crime, and I got fucking a 93-day jail sentencing plus 10 days contempt for not bothering nobody. But a judge got paid to sign a piece of paper, and another judge showed up for a little kangaroo court where we just said, like, the judge signed the paper, so you're in jail now. That's how it works here. No First Amendment to redress grievances. No constitutional rights at all. Just straight to jail, lock you up, steal your money, ruin your life so your job fails, so you lose your job, and let's make your life worse, says Kenzie, because Kenzie had a feeling she no likey. So, a hearing prior to abridging civil rights, or even to go to a hospital, I don't think I put that in the last one, is your opportunity as the best and brightest to hear, the best and brightest of our community, to hear from the physically, mentally, and spiritual broken among us, so you can use that big brain of yours to bring peace and order with your laws. But that's not what you do. You're like a bad parent that only knows how to hear part or none of the story. Create a rule, then demand your dictate is order, to identify disregarding your authority as bad, and deliver your arbitrary pain and suffering in lectures with no foundation, because the only thing that's over is your interference in my love life. That's awesome. That's an awesome paragraph. And it's true. It's true. These PPOs, especially these PPOs, are a perfect opportunity to get the two parties in a room together in front of a judge that's supposed to be reasonable, rational, and have a mind to bring peace and order and liberty and justice to our fucking community members. And it's not what they do. It's not what they do. They're just like my fucking parents. Do as I say, not as I do. We said you're not allowed to do something and you did it. Now I get to hurt you. Somebody told me you did something that I said you're not allowed to do. Whether you did it or not, well, that's what the show cause is for, is whether I did it or not. My parents don't care whether I did it or not. They just have to hear about it, and I'm hurting. Same with lots of people. That's how it works. That's what Kenzie and Jessica know. They don't even have to, it doesn't even have to be real. They just have to tell a story to turn, to Ghislaine Maxwell knows, you just tell a story to get the girl mad at the person that loves her, her family, her husband, her fiance, or man, and get them to turn the positive energy to a negative energy, and then they'll do what you want. So the egg on your face is directly correlated with your company, big government, ex-party assault on due process in the Sixth Amendment. To only care about the thoughts and pretend feelings of a sophistrious psychopath with a vendetta. And I don't know if sophistrious is a word or not, but I like it. And if we had a hearing, you would have learned that every time I talked to Wade, up until recently, he said we were going to figure things out one day. He just can't handle hearing me hurt over his wife's treachery and how she plays sex trafficking games from the playbook I shared with you last year when you stole 28 days of my life ex parte, only to set me free once I was finally allowed to be heard. Which is just so fucking, it's just so fucking great how it worked out. Judge So signed a ex parte order to lock me in a mental institution, which they rubber stamp and put poison on people, and you don't get out of those places without getting put on poison. And because they just rubber stamp all these things and don't care about it. And then 28 days, it took me 28 days to finally get in front of a judge to, I think it was 24 for the first and 28 for the second court date because it was over the weekend. But a speedy trial was supposed to be had there, but no, 24, 28 days. That's the fastest they could get me in front of somebody. There's a whole slew of things that they're supposed to do and just set me free, because once you're over like 10 days or 7 days in there and they don't have anything to hold you anymore, they're supposed to let you go, but they don't care. It's just a game to them. They break the rules. They don't have to follow any of the laws and regulations that are out there. It's just a slaughterhouse, really. It's just a slaughterhouse where all the sheep go to die, and all the sheep go get massacred so that they can enrich themselves. The slaughterhouse. Bay County Slaughterhouse. Took 28 days of my fucking life away, only to set me free when I got a hearing. I finally could hear and tell my side of the fucking story, and he said, yeah, that seems reasonable enough, even though some of it doesn't make sense. We're gonna come to a reasonable agreement, and he set me free from that fucking place. And if I would have been able to be heard prior to a PPO getting heard, we wouldn't have been in this position either, because we would have come to a reasonable agreement that I can show up at St. Stan's, and if she's on the other side, I just won't talk to her or any of the people that I used to care about and love and were friends with since as long as I can fucking remember. Because we don't want to upset Kenzie and make sure she doesn't have a fucking feeling she doesn't like. So we could have done any of those things. At any point in this fucking process, this slaughterhouse assembly line of fucking murder, destroy your fucking community. And then I don't want to go into it, but it talks about certain people that haven't given up on me and that I'm sure would be still happy to see me if I show up at St. Stan's to see how they were doing and tell me about their life. It's just they're going to be, Kenzie might be around them, and if they're in a place, then I'll have to be on edge and afraid that Kenzie might show up with the cops to hurt me. And one of the people was crying the last time I talked to them. Said, I'm not going to let her win. Like tears in his eyes, which she already won. She already won at that point. I'm not welcome around anymore. She made it clear I'm not welcome. And then everyone just blindly agreed, got on board with whatever Kenzie wanted. So Debbie, Wade's mom, she was in the court, and it was evident to me that she was disappointed and hurt, but she will always love me like a mom. And that was a really good takeaway, because she was really hurt the first day when I told her that Kenzie said all those did a lot of terrible things, and she was shaking her head no, and just defending the girl code of no, Kenzie's a perfect angel. But I'm certain after the emotional pain that we were all in right here prior to that first court date, that she went back and heard what I actually said to her. I thanked her for protecting me from Kenzie, because Debbie knows who Kenzie really is. She sees Kenzie. It's not good enough for her baby boy, and she's not. He could do way better than her. And that's why she doesn't want me around, because she wants to still be the girl that's not good enough for him and use and abuse her dog, the Tiny King. Have him do all the chores and work the job that she wants him to work, and never chase any of his dreams, because we have to make all of Kenzie's dreams come true. Because Kenzie worked really hard to get all her dreams come true, so we need to make sure she gets whatever she wants. But the next day the next court date, Debbie was not the same mad at me anymore. Her energy was different, and that was reassuring. My niece nephew, especially my nephew, will hang out with me again once he's 18 and my abusive sister no longer has total control over his life. And that's true. There's things that I'm working on that I just loved hanging out with him. He's so smart. He's got such a good mind for this world. And there's business things that I can align with him. And when he's 18 and my sister is fucking a psychopath, the most controlling freak you'll ever meet in your life. If she doesn't get her way, you're gonna be hurt. You better believe it. Some way, somehow, she's gonna make you suffer. And with me, she knows she can hold my nephew hostage, and then I'm not allowed to hang out with my nephew because she uses them as tools to abuse her family, which is really sad. But he'll be 18 at some point, and he'll be able to make his own decisions, and she won't be able to call the cops on me, send an Ed to hurt me, because my nephew will be old enough to make his own decisions by the law, because he's more of an adult than everyone in that household. He's more of a fucking adult than all of them. And it's sad that he's suffocating in there. Not that they're terrible people that abuse him, but they do. They do. They do. And something about a girl, and a little bit about how people, there's different ways that people love. People love everybody and love everything. And then there's people that love the things that they love and the things that they desire and care about. And I like the people that show love the right way towards everyone, not the fake ass love languages. People just saying and doing the right things to get what they want from somebody they are lusting after and want to catch a vibe on, or whatever the reason is that they want to do all these love languages things. But there's people that just naturally want to give the abundance of love that they have out. That's what I said, the lust versus love. The lust is I crave and I need, so give me the sexual energy and the vibe and the attention because I crave it, because trauma that I've been through of creating this happy life for so long with this person who obviously my friends don't like, so I'm not allowed to like anymore. And anyway, then there's people that actually the love never turns off. It never turns off. Even when you do something that makes them mad, they still inside their soul they still love those people. And I know how to spot them. So do people like Kinsey and the drug, sex, and organ traffickers like Ghislaine Maxwell. These people, they know how to spot the souls that are tormented, and how to use and abuse those people. And Kenzie was trained in it. When I told her, when I first got back, and Wade and I were talking about all of my business plans and how some things align, like he's been studying property management for as long as I've known him. And one of my initiatives, I need to house people, and I need certain stipulations around that housings, and it's all beyond my knowledge. And I can go pay a real estate agent and try to get advice from them and have to pay money to them. But I always had Wade to talk to and just bounce my ideas off of and see what he thought. And the Bublitz family. And once Kenzie got involved, she didn't like that we were talking about those things. And so she put an end to it. And Wade said he's not allowed to do anything, meaning he's not allowed to talk or plan a future with me anymore because his wife doesn't like me. So anyway, so it says, you say to give up, it's over, but I'm filled with hope. Everything is just complicated ever since Kinsey and Kim, Kenzie's aunt, made themselves a center of attention to play authoritarian puppet master, and now using you as a tool to weaponize the system to control who her husband, friends, and family are allowed to be friends with. But at least you made a powerful statement to bolster your signature and constitutionalist supreme rule with arbitrary consequences for imaginary crimes. Which is exactly what happened, and it's all addressed to my guy Judge Joe. Constitutionalist supreme rule. I might have made some changes in the final draft that were better. I can't remember, but when this paper that said that it didn't that the judge didn't read it or consider it, and they said they sent back the final copies, but I never received those back. The paperwork says it's the final copies were supposed to come back to me, and the CO, the correction officer in jail, suggested that they might have just thrown the papers away, because they go through the mail and check it all, and they just decide to trash shit when they want to. They don't really care too much. I don't want to say they were bad at their job and that they just threw shit away all the time, but loose leaf paper, I'm not allowed to have staples in it. It doesn't have my name on each piece of paper, on any of the papers. It doesn't have my name on it. It just has the case number on the first page and the date. And so they've just probably trashed it all. And it never got back to me, so I have to use these drafts. What value do supporters of our community gain by making me Ghislaine and your victim again? Other than she gets off on the abuse and successfully defrauding the system. I guess I gain more street cred, which I don't want or need, and no responsibilities for another month of my life lost ex parte. Which brings us back to nobody cares for anything more than getting what they want ex parte. We share our pain and suffering only to be told to shut up, as if I'm not Kenzie and Jess, my sister's perpetual victim. And then I cross out living and put dying in the chaos that they create. And you perpetuate with arbitrary dictates and arbitrary punishments that provide little to no value or reform, many times digging a deeper hole closer to hell, and woefully lacking in liberty and justice for all, which must just be words you turn your back on when you sit down to judge your neighbors and deliver your company's standard poison that only causes more pain and suffering and destruction to bottle up or spread like a disease in the zero-sum spiritual game of life, and get locked away because nobody cares. It's a mouthful. It's a mouthful. Say it's just a bunch of fucking bullshit. And my favorite line is, it's woefully lacking in liberty and justice for all, which is right on the wall behind the judge. Liberty and justice for all under the law. That's what he sits. He sits down, and then he turns his back to it after he sits down, and then judges. It's a literal statement as much as it plays figuratively too, which is the best when you can make those dots connect. He must just turn his words he turns his back on when he sits down to judge his neighbors. It's exactly what he does. Lawyers. Next, to address your testimony in favor of your good public defenders. I'm sure you trust they are good of lawyers protecting their clients as you are an ex-parte judge, or maybe they're just good to you because they are too hopelessly pre-defeated to challenge you and stand strong for the law of the land, the U.S. Constitution, which is just great. But I want to thank you for sharing your mind to help me understand why your good public defenders are too afraid, like the first guy, or careless like the last loser, to do what needs to be done, which is tell you that you ain't got no clothes on, Mr. Supreme Emperor, and fight for humanity outlined in the Bill of Rights over the path of least resistance and what's expedient or safe for their careers. Which is exactly what they did. They're public defenders. And we could have played a game like I could have fired the first guy and made my constitutional cases that he didn't want to make. And then he would be a standby lawyer, is what they've been doing with these lawyers that choose to not do the job they've been given. They get to be standby and get paid for not doing the job. And a judge that calls them good for not doing the job. And so they won't make the constitutional argument that I can redress the grievance to come to a peaceful resolution. They won't talk to the prosecutor and try to get it thrown out outside of court to come to a reasonable, peaceful resolution. The judge won't hear it, they've decided, and there's no pretrial, there's no due process for this. It's just a slaughterhouse assembly line, guys. What's most expedient and safe for their careers? The first guy was all about not saying anything that would have said a judge, and the second guy said, I don't really care at all, I'm getting paid either way. So finally, perpetual victim, let's talk about it. Your inability to see everyone before you as perpetual victims of the savage society that is outside your no hats on courtroom may have blinded you from seeing justice. And I love that because some guy came into his courtroom when during the middle of the court, and he put him he stopped everything that was going on and said, "Hey, take that hat off in my courtroom." And it's reasonable to do that. You can conceal your intentions when you hide your face. And judges definitely, these judges and prosecutors are getting bribes and threats, not necessarily regularly, but they're causing a lot of pain and suffering in our community. But anyway, back to it. No hats on in this courtroom, which he creates that order. That level of order and respect is what he demands, and abiding by the rules and regulations to the fucking T, that everyone that walks in his courtroom, except for him and his lawyers, they have to follow every rule and regulation to the T. Except for the prosecutors, the lawyers, and the judges, everyone else in that fucking courtroom better be following all the fucking rules. They don't gotta follow them, though, because they're trained on how to break the rules. They were trained on what rules to break and how to manipulate language so that they get what they want and they don't have to follow the rules. Justice, that's what they call it. Liberty and justice. Liars, broken promises, adulterers, wicked PPO gathering whores, other cheats, thieves, and the likes of Kenzie, Jessica, Lane, Maxwell, and all the others unwilling to repent and atone for their iniquities, create perpetually tormented souls that can only be healed through fire and brimstone in the hand of righteousness. And that's how it works. Unfortunately, the U.S. court and her lawyers have been indoctrinated to disregard truth and, by proxy, liberty and justice as hearsay or irrelevant for expediency in the almighty currency of the private entity known as the Federal Reserve's monopoly money our garbage society worships over God and humanity. And it's just so true. Like I said, the judges and the prosecutors are trained in the language on how to hide facts and evidence as irrelevant to whether or not it's irrelevant whether or not the personal protection order is valid, because the show cause isn't about whether the PPO is valid or not. The show cause is about whether you violated the invalid personal protection order. Whether it's constitutionally valid or not is irrelevant in the judge's mind, because the Constitution is a useless piece of paper that these judges don't care about. And once a judge signs a rubber stamps a personal, once you pay a judge off to do unconstitutional bullshit, then the Constitution doesn't matter, because another judge is going to say, I don't care if it's constitutional or not. We're not here to talk about that. We're not here to talk about liberty and justice and peace in our community. We're here to talk about whether or not and how long I get to throw you in jail for, so my friends at the jail can make money, so I can keep perpetuating my system and keep destroying our community, calling myself the good guy because somebody did something that my friend told him he's not allowed to do. Just point out that it's all about that Federal Reserve monopoly money. It's monopoly money, not the game Monopoly, but it's a monopoly as in it's the only currency, and it's a private company, private family that owns it and manages it and operates what the value of it is. it's not real. It's not a real value, and the value of it changes with each person's imagination of its value. But mainly the private entity that operates the military machine and pays Joe Biden and his family, Kamala Harris. They're the ones that everyone worships, that dollar, and that's all these people cared about. All Kenzie cares about is getting what she wants. All the girls care about is getting me to shut up and stop talking about how girls are abusive. And all the judges care about is following their little processes. I don't know. Nothing really. Who knows what they care about? In closing, I'd like to state that exercising my 1A does not fall under contempt for you or your court. In fact, I hold you and your business in the highest esteem, good and bad alike, as you are in a big way responsible for maintaining peace and order in our country. It's just that your company and the people of this drug-infested town, full of drunks and whores, do too many contemptible things that cannot go unnoticed and unaddressed by my conscience. It is. This town's such a fucking shithole. It's such a shit town of just slaughterhouse assembly line, Bay County slaughterhouse, telling everyone that they're bad for doing things they've deemed bad, and they do all the bad stuff too. They just keep it a secret and don't get caught. As long as you don't get caught, it's fine. And or if you bribe a judge, or you threaten a prosecutor, or you pay people to do bad things. And there's, like we said, there's no due process and no redressing grievances. There's no constitution. There's no nothing here but just a assembly line. So even with your 63 days of victimization you're holding over my head, which she gave me 93 days in jail and 30 up front, so he could have 63 days to hurt me with should I do something he doesn't like. But it's more than that. The Senate Bill 1050 says that if I violate the personal protection order again, the max he's allowed to give me is 5 days in jail. It says for a first violation, five days is the max he can do. But like we already said, they don't care about the Senate or the Constitution here at Bay County Slaughterhouse. They only care about what the judge wrote on a piece of paper. So on his piece of paper, he wrote that he's got 63 days. And you best believe he'll use all 63 days if he fucking feels like it. And after those 5 days are up, who the fuck am I going to appeal it to? I got no envelopes in there, no way of mailing or faxing anything out to anybody, no help or support from any lawyers or anybody that'll even come talk to me. I sent letter after letter to this lawyer, and he just doesn't show up and ignores everything. The good public defenders talked to me for 10 minutes and said, that's all you get from me, and I'll see you in court as your lawyer, and not do anything and collect a paycheck, and every time you ask for help, I'm just going to say, fuck you, I don't care. The good Judge Joe said he's a good public defender. So I still feel obligated to deliver a message for my people. With all due respect, fuck you and all the rubber stamping, ex-partying cunts in our cunt city, state, country spelt C-U-N-T-R-Y, and world of psychopaths with make-believe authority in contempt of God as well as the U.S. Constitution and her people our forefathers sought to liberate and protect. Which, yeah, fuck all of these fucking people that are just rubber stamping people's lives away and destroying one soul after another just to make a dirty cunt piece of shit like Kenzie happy. She gets to be gassed up because she threw me in jail. Ha ha ha, she gets to go have fun and party because she hurt me even more than she already did by destroying my long-term relationships by making sure everyone she knows made sure I wasn't welcome around because she hates me and she doesn't like me, so I'm not welcome around and no one's allowed. Everyone has to walk on eggshells and pretend that Luke doesn't exist so that Kenzie doesn't have to have a feeling that Kenzie doesn't want. And if she can get me thrown in jail, that's just fucking icing on top. If she perjures herself and lies on government documents, and we're not talking about her lying on government documents, she's already done that. She's lied in court. She's lying on government documents. It doesn't matter anymore. She already perjured herself, and perjury doesn't matter. The Constitution doesn't matter. It's a show cause. Did you show up and deliver a coffee machine to Wade, whose wife hates you and filed a PPO so that you're not welcome at Wade's house anymore? Did you show up at Wade's house and not bother anybody? Is the answer yes? Okay, then you're going to jail because we care here in Bay County. Because Kenzie cares so much. I question a spiritual awakening of one who could do this to their neighbors perpetually. Perhaps you hit the snooze button and went back to sleep. And that's just a funny line because he and I had some chats, and he shared some things with me. And the game that was played on me, the games that were played on me with my fucking soul were next level. It's a good thing I'm back to wake you and yours up, tend this ex-partying, arbitrary punishment-giving reign of terror over the abused and neglected of our community. And that's what it really is. Like, everyone tells me I got Ed and Carolyn because Ed made good money and used me as a slave to make his happy big life, and then does nothing. Make sure he knows that he trained me to be self-sufficient because I have no support from anyone on this fucking planet. They'll let me sleep under their roof if I do slave labor for them and pay rent. More cost than what it would be for me to go live on my own. And because he wants to profit off me too. It's not just about making my life easier because he cares about me. He wants to turn a profit off of his son as well. So, and it's not that those are the problems. The problem is if he doesn't get his way and if he's not happy, then he's gonna break my stuff. He's gonna steal things from me. He's gonna try to get me locked in a mental institution. He's gonna start stuff and stop. He's gonna interfere in my plans. He's going to tell me everything I want to do won't work, even if he hasn't taken the time to figure out whether it will work or not. It's just a habit, a reflex for him to say, shut the fuck up, Luke. All your ideas are stupid, and nothing you say or do will ever work. And if we start to see it working, well, then Ed's going to make sure he sabotages it. He's going to throw a temper tantrum. He's going to break it and say, see, I told you it wasn't going to work. I told you it wasn't going to work. And he'll just sabotage me and call himself the good guy because he was right. He put an end to it. He broke it. He destroyed it. It was working. And even if it did work, it wasn't my idea. It was his idea because it worked, and now it's his idea, and I didn't have any involvement in it. So those are the options. Either he magnanimously did everything all by himself, and I had no part in supporting him at all, or what I do is stupid, and if it worked, he's going to break it and make sure it didn't work. Because he's got to have it his way. Psychopaths, man. That's what I told you at the beginning. Ex parte, psychopath, tyrant, they all have the same definition. A fucking asshole that only cares about getting what they fucking want, with no regard for anyone else and the pain and suffering that they cause others to get what they fucking want. And the people that they're doing it to, they're always the most abused and neglected of this community. These are the people that are getting cycled through, the people that have nobody to help them out. All my dad does is tell me all the reasons he thinks I suck, but he hasn't been a part of my life in the longest fucking time. has no idea about anything, doesn't have the capability to sit there and listen and hear me so that he can figure out what's going on. He just controls and demands everything's his way, and if everyone does everything his way, then he'll be happy, and therefore everyone else has to be, I don't know, it's a problem. Just like Kenzie. It doesn't matter. As long as they get what they want, what do they have to do to hurt me so that they can be happy? That's Ed, Carolyn, or Ed, Jessica, and Kenzie. And my mom wrote a letter to me saying that she can't hear it all the time. And I keep trying to explain history is going to repeat itself. It's not about talking about the past with Ed and Jessica and Kenzie. It's for me to be friends and do stuff with my nephew. I have to deal with the fact that he has a mom that's pure evil inside and has no care for anybody, but spreading her hate and calling it venting and saying she's allowed to do it and everyone has to let it go because she's mom or she was born with a pussy or whatever reason she's come up with. And so girl makes up a lie. She hates somebody. She wants to destroy a relationship and a friendship and a bond. It'll please her to do such things. And so she does it. And then if you call her out and say, hey, you need to fucking fix this, now she's a victim. And now she can pretend like she's afraid. And now she can go send somebody to hurt you. And abuse you even more. Because that's her right. My sister makes it very clear that if I don't do what she wants, that she's going to get Ed and Carolyn to hurt me. She's going to make me suffer. She's going to get somebody to hurt me. She's going to lie to them and tell them I did something that I never did. And she's going to make sure she causes some pain and suffering on me. She had a feeling she didn't like. And so I have to get abused by her and then get abused by Ed because Ed doesn't care about me and Jessica being in the same room and coming to figure out what actually happened. No, he just goes and talks to Jessica and says, she said what she said. There's two sides to every story, and I just do whatever Jessica wants so that I hurt you so she's happy. And that's what Ed calls love. And Judge says I'm not a perpetual victim, which I don't know what he really means by perpetual victim. I have to keep telling people what happened because I'm not going to be a victim of it again. I was a victim of it as many times as I was the victim of it, and now I'm going to talk about it perpetually until history doesn't fucking repeat itself. So whatever Judge Joe's got in his head about me thinking I'm a perpetual victim and that everyone's out to get me, no, I'm at a standstill right now. 4 years ago, Kenzie Engelhardt came into my house and said, no one likes me, I'm an R. Kelly pedophile that no one likes, no one ever liked. Only reason anyone ever hung out with me when I came into town was because of a special occasion, that I'm not welcome in her house anymore unless it's a special occasion. That Ace is the problem because Ace has dog hair, and I'm fucking everything up. And she also never said any of those things because she needs to lie to Kim and Debbie and all of her family and friends and make sure she's the innocent victim in all of this. So I'm not a perpetual victim in that she's constantly entering into my life to remind me that she did this or to find another way to hurt me. No, I have to perpetually think about it because it's a human brain. That's how it works. You think thoughts. And every time I come to this fucking city, I always have different thoughts associated with different people, just like any other human being does. And these people were always I just don't understand how Kinsey could have got away with what she did, and that none of her family or anybody, not even the courts have the decency to figure out what's really going on. Everyone's just playing the dirty cunt's game of she greased the right palms at the Bay County slaughterhouse to go slaughter her enemy and told her family and friends a bunch of lies so that they're all angry at me and none of them want to be around me because I talk about how my sister and my exes are terrible, and their people were terrible to me just because the girls get off on venting and being dirty cunts. That's the only reason. And I'm a human being that's not perfect. So what are you going to do? Kenzie can always find out an imperfection, a flaw that she can use to destroy somebody and turn friends against, and just like Ghislaine Maxwell, turn family against family, so that you can use everybody and turn them against your enemy. So not perpetually, but I'm definitely the abused and neglected of this community, just like every other victim that goes through this slaughterhouse because some dirty cunt like Kenzie had a feeling. That's all that's in there. That's all that's in there is fucking drug addicts that are in pain because some dirty fucking cunt, or some idiot that fucking beat a fucking woman because she's a dumb fucking cunt. And everyone's just protecting the dumb fucking cunts. It's like that whole feed a fish and you'll feed them for a day. How about you train these dirty cunts to stop being dirty cunts and stop playing their fucking make-believe game like they're the fucking victims, and the fucking actual victim that's standing in front of you with evidence of it over and over and over again. You just say, not a victim, because judge, you're a judge. I have nothing but goodwill for you and yours, and hope for the best in and out of you as the high tide raises all ships. And in parentheses, I say that Karen doesn't sink, which is awesome because, like I said, there's people that love and people that lust. So there's people that crave getting from other and taking and gaining more resources and things and joy for themselves. And then there's people that love, that gain joy and abundance by giving, by sharing the love that they have. And Kenzie's game is to sink everyone's ship so that she's the only one getting love. And so her family and her friends, which were my family and friends, were giving me attention and showing me love, and she got jealous, so she needed to destroy it. And that's what she did. And no one cares, nobody cares, because she already did it. Me talking about it's the problem, not that she did it. And me talking about it, me asking anyone for help, me paying therapists does nothing. And everything I do is the problem now because Kenzie already got what she wanted. And everything else is irrelevant because this court case isn't about finding peace and liberty and justice and resolve and create a better community. No, it's about the girl paid money to the system to play a game of make-believe, and now everyone's just going to play a game of make-believe and collect money and hurt somebody so that somebody as evil as Kenzie can go be happy. And then I sign it, peace and love, signed your victim, X party, 28 days plus 30 plus 10 plus countless days of torment. Or actually put that on the next one. I said plus ... because that's what I got. 28 days locked in a mental institution because he rubber stamped the pickup order with no hearing. He decided that because a nurse told him I said something irrational on social media with no examples of what I said that was irrational, no expression of it actually being a violent thing. It just said it was irrational, something irrational, no evidence. Ex parte meaning someone's going to hurt or be dead if the judge doesn't rubber stamp it. And it's not, let's sign this ex parte order temporarily until we can have a hearing. Nope, it's ex parte order's been stamped and it's now law. It's now law. No hearing at all. No due process at all. Not a, let's get it put in front of this person as quickly as possible so that we can then have a hearing and then retweak it to what it should be. It's nope, it's girl paid us money and now we're going to hurt you if you do something we decided we don't want you to do. She doesn't like. So if you're not pleasing her, then we're going to hurt you for her because she paid us money. Ex-partying Judge Dawn and Jan's victim, 50 days plus poison plus countless days of torment. Ex parte Harry Gill and Lisa Langton's victim, abridging my constitutional rights without constitution. That fucking bitch Lisa Langton of Oakland County took my Second Amendment right away because I called a girl ugly. Ex parte, no hearing, just Second Amendment right abridged, stripped, taken away from me. I no longer have it because Lisa Langton said if you call a girl ugly, we ex parte away your Second Amendment right and all of your other constitutional rights. You have no rights here in America. You're now just deemed the bad guy, not a victim, because Lisa Langton has declared you so. And Jess and Ed and Kenzie's and Kim's perpetual victim indefinitely. P.S. Do you know Hitler and the crew got away with all their crimes? A judge's signature with no checks from the shoot first, ask questions later Gestapo, which is accurate. And then I asked him, don't shoot the messenger or be mad at me for too long, as he said he wouldn't, because I'm not taking it easy on him. He didn't fucking go easy on me in that court. He played the little game of make-believe and ran me through his little experiment. His little experiment of locking me in here with a bunch of whoever I was locked in there with. Then I defined and I put an appendix in here too. I put an appendix with definitions and solutions. Definition A, ex-party, aka ex parte, psychopath, tyrant. Definition, to only care about satisfying a pussy with no care for anyone else. Example, Kenzie is having an ex-party because she got away with perjury and you unleashed her wrath on me. It's exactly what happened. She lied to the government and paid them to hurt me, and they hurt me because she was angry. Queen of Hearts, off with your head. And the Bay County slaughterhouse is more than happy to chop heads off for dirty fucking cunts like Kenzie. Arbitrary, referring to laws and punishments. Definition, created with no care for outcome nor path to reform or to make amends. Example is child support. Child support, it's time in child support jail. These people are in for child support for not paying child support. So what do? Lock them in jail for indefinitely till stop the payments to the child. So the bills that are getting stacked up, however, the payments that you need to make, it's not getting added to your owing to your child. What they've stopped that. So you only owe what you backdated, and as long as you're in jail, you don't owe your child anything. Who you owe now is $20 a day to Bay County. So Bay County takes $20, locks you in jail, takes $20 a day, marks up all the purchased items 5 times so they can make a big profit off of the prisoners, and they start stealing money from your kid's mouth at the tune of $20 a day. You better damn well be sure you're going to pay them back first, and then they'll feed your kid later, while the woman's on child support and not having to do shit for her fucking family. Repent and atone. Repent is to confess mistakes, to acknowledge that what's going on, to acknowledge it in reality, and to detest the bad. It's really an element to it that should be added, the detesting, the not being proud of your bad behavior and the destruction that you cause, which is the game. See, Kenzie can say she's sorry and put on a show and make Kim believe she's actually whatever she wants Kim to believe, and make Wade believe whatever she wants Wade to believe. And Jessica can play a game of make Ed believe whatever she wants Ed to believe. And as long as nobody talks to me and I don't have to be in the room, then they can gossip and make up stories that never fucking happened, or only tell partial truths, which is what sophistry is to create false premises with partial truths. So it's like Kenzie hates me and doesn't want me around because she's a dirty fucking cunt. And she's not allowed to have, that can't be the reason. It can't be just that she's a hateful, dirty, evil fucking cunt. No, no, no. She has to have a bigger, more philosophical reason. She needs to be the hero and the good guy. And so she's protecting people by talking about me behind my back to let them know why they should not want me around and let them know why they should hate me, and being the snake that poisons everyone behind my back, talking shit about me of why she hates me and why she's protecting them and making good decisions and helping them out, and she's the good guy. And then when I talk about it, now she's the victim because she's now she needs to be protected. Now the Bay County Slaughterhouse needs to protect her from the guy that's talking about the things that she said and did about me behind my back. And it's just the game that girls play, and Judge Joe likes to play along, make sure girls in our town are happy and feel the vibe they want to feel. And the vibe Kenzie wanted to feel that day was hurt her enemy, and Judge Joe was more than happy to say, let me go hurt you for her. Atoning to make things right, fix yourself to end the wrong. So the repenting is acknowledging you did something wrong and understanding that it caused yourself and your family and the people you care about pain, and then not being proud of yourself and saying, I've already wrote this person off, so who cares? Me and my sorority slut friends, my feminist friends, and the fuckboy and the drug dealers at the bar, we've all decided that I get to go be in my slut phase and be a little whore. So who cares about anyone else or anything other than making sure that everyone in my fucking new whore family is all on the same page with giving me the vibe, and that everyone's given the right vibe, or you're no longer in the group anymore. And you hear my friends, the fuckboys I know, they'll tell you about it. Just once the girl's no longer wanting to be that slut, she's in exile now too. It's like you're on board with being a slut, and when you're no longer that slut, you're not the vibe anymore. We're no longer friends. And it's the same with the LGBT, the trans community. If you're not trans anymore, you're not part of the group, you're not friends no more. If you're no longer in your hoe phase being a slut, and you want to find somebody and have a long-term relationship and be happy and not be miserable and suicidal and hate everybody and just playing a game of gas each other up and manipulate each other, like this person and also like that person, and fuck this person but love that person, and hate fuck this person and just friends fuck this person, and commit yourself to be honest and truthful and love forever this person, and whatever games you guys are playing, and changing your hair and your name from day to day, because you get to change your mind whenever you fucking want. Women. Anyway. Toning. That's how you heal. Actual heal is atoning. Fixing what's going on so that you're no longer in the negative state, the negative vibration, which we'll get into it later when we talk about the frequency chart and the energy and how it works. Solutions. Correctly interpret the Constitution and hold it above common law and judges' signatures. That's a great fucking solution. First Amendment to redress grievances. I have it. Don't fucking take it away from me. They abridged my right to free speech too. If he would have thrown me in jail if I talked about the court case, if I talked about what was happening publicly, I get thrown in jail. Because Kenzie asked them to take my First Amendment right away, and judge says, sure, whatever, we don't care about the First Amendment. Constitution, who gives a fuck about that? It's number 2 solution. No more ex parte orders without a hearing for all parties involved, unless willing to assign a police detail for the potential victim until you find their ... because I don't want to put their perpetrator or their whatever, because I'm certainly more of a victim of Kenzie's than she's a victim, than I'm the assailant or whatever you want to call me. Like, she's an awful fucking person. And the ex parte order, it's explicitly to prevent a violent somebody getting hurt. So you better have this ex parte order with cops hanging out this person's door at night, because you don't know if they're gonna die or not. That's what we're talking about. Not some girl paid us money, you called her ugly, so you don't have a Second Amendment right to bear arms anymore, because you can't call a girl ugly anymore. That's definitely to strip you of your constitutional rights. Create laws and punishments that allow victims to be made whole, and perpetrator has a path to reform and provide restitution. And that's important too. It's have these things be reasonable. I had another letter I wrote to the judge. While I was in there, I didn't get an appeal. I signed the piece of paper they gave me that said that was requesting an appeals lawyer, and no one responded. And this is like, I don't know, I didn't get any of the originals back, so I don't think I dated it. But it must have been 3 weeks till I had it. And I went through a couple of rough drafts. Like I said, I don't have the final copy, it was excellent. It was an excellent final copy. Anyway, this one didn't make it to the final cut, but it was really what I wanted to say. I'd like to appeal the ignorant sentence I received from a judge, in quotation marks, that doesn't understand the U.S. Constitution nor has any care for due process, the right to a competent attorney, the truth, liberty, justice, just us lawyers, bending rules you don't even follow, just us lawyers playing with people's lives to enrich yourselves, and bending rules you don't even follow to win a game, win a fucking game. It doesn't care about bringing peace to our community. But I didn't say that. It didn't fit. I requested a stay from release. I should have had an appeal much faster and gotten a lawyer at some point. And there is no real way to get one when you're in there. This one was the closest that I got to the final draft here. Tiny letters. I was running out low on paper and had no way to get more, so I was tapped out on resources. And the kindness of some of the COs, they got me extra paper here and there. And this one says, Dear utmost caring protector of perjuring girls' fake feelings and your corporate authority, Judge Joe. As much as I'm enjoying jail, and then in parentheses, if someone can win at jail, I am. Which, anywhere I go, it's like people might be afraid to be in a place like that because people are all on edge, ready to, I don't know. It's like a high school fucking drama played out in a small scale. popularity contest in bullying, but I've had to deal with plenty of bullies and know how to operate with them, and some of them I quite enjoy their antics, and the ones that can tell that I like them, anyway, it's just the whole thing. I don't have to worry about people. They know it's like, don't start no shit, won't be no shit. So time in there is fucking nothing, and I made good use of it. But I'd prefer to be hanging out with Ace. Just fucking would. I would. Please release me today for the second contempt of court. I was serving a consecutive fucking sentence. He called me contempt of court for delivering a fucking coffee machine, and that's 93 days in jail. And then stacked on a consecutive 10, because sometimes they let you play those out at the same time. Like if you're serving 60 days somewhere else and 60 days here, they'll be like, we're not going to make you serve it twice and let you go, because that's games they can play. It's just whatever they feel like. Whatever whimsical desire somebody with title of judge comes up with, and then everyone has to play along. Yes, your majesty. And then the fucking pikemen come and they take you away, and they either sometimes, anyway, we don't need to get into it. For the system, as for what it fucking is, they're good people that are doing these things. You can tell when you hang out with them and spend time with them. That most every one of them was genuinely deems this to be the way. This is the way. This is the way. And I just disagree. I don't think it's the fucking way. It's a way. It's a fucking way. It's a fucking way. Where are we? The second consecutive contempt of court. I'm like, all right, I've fucking been in here for a month. It's fucking time to let me go. Whatever lessons I was supposed to have fucking learned by this fucking timeout, mom, whatever fucking lesson I was supposed to learn, I'm certain I've either learned it or I'm never gonna fucking understand what the fuck you guys are doing right now. So just let me the fuck go. There's no point in fucking wasting any more of anyone's time. These good babysitters that are decent enough to me don't need to be bothered by me no more. And I just stated that I assumed he mistook my comment that was directed at Wade as if it was directed at Kenzie. And all I said to her was congratulations, which in theory was a violation of the protection order because I'm not supposed to acknowledge her or whatever, but also the whole charade, I call it a charade now in kangaroo court concept, just all imaginary fucking bullshit. A game of make-believe and don't care about reality and truth, just what story do we want to go with? What narrative do we want to go with? Well, judge said she paid one of our team members to rubber stamp a document, so that's the one we're going to go with. We don't care much about anything above that. She paid us. We filed it. That's that, sir. Right to jail. Right to jail. And I just said that. I feel like the 4 days I've already been in here extra on top of the fucking first month that you've given is just enough. Let me the fuck go. And I said, furthermore, I'm confused at the nature of probation, as Senate Bill 1050 clearly states that probation is a tool for rehabilitation and can be used and cannot be used as an extra punishment. Not that you care about Senate laws. I think it went not that the Bay City government cares about Senate laws or the Constitution they created that supersedes common law, which in theory I want to clarify that even more specific. The Bill of Rights, the extra amendments on top of the Bill of Rights are of lesser significance, just a game of control at that point. It's really hard to understand the extra ones. Why it's necessary to clarify certain things that they did. But anyway, fucking rambling. But the Senate Bill 1050 that was recently, it was like 2023 that was created, says it's only to be used as rehabilitation, not to be used as an extra punishment. And then, about the not the superseding, because local governments should be able to make decisions based on how they operate, and the local government should have a lot of decision making power. And the Senate's supposed to go through and create a standard that should be followed, or ideas, not even just that necessarily should be followed in superseding it. It should be acknowledged and addressed accordingly. And there's no reason to go against it unless you got a good reason to go against it. You shouldn't just be naturally rubber stamping and saying, we don't do it, we don't see it, we don't care. So the U.S. Bill of Rights should be reviewed. Every case should be reviewed under the microscope of if it violates any of the first 10 amendments in the U.S. Constitution. And if somebody brings that up in this court, it just gets ignored. It just gets fucking ignored. This Senate bill guideline is a decent enough one because it puts parameters on judges and their ability to sentence. Because one of the things I do want to implement is teaming up, not necessarily a criminal, but it's got to be someone that's a criminal, someone that is breaking the rules, that is reformed and wants to make sure fucking judges aren't making examples of human beings just so they can play a game of, if I hurt this person bad enough, the next person will know better than trying to be friends with somebody that they've been friends with since they were fucking a little child, their whole fucking life. The only person, anyway. So how dare you? We said you're not fucking allowed to, and you did it. So we're gonna make a fucking example of this person and hurt you real nice and good to prove that we have the power. That we have the power to control your fucking happiness, and you don't get to have any say about it. And so when you have a court system that does those kind of things to human beings, well, then you got to take into consideration what's really going on in the Senate. Has a large jurisdiction and they're supposed to have a lot of knowledge on these laws, ideally. I don't know. It's really hard to understand what the Senate's up to. But it's the injustice that they see that they can outline and say, listen, we've seen this too many times, so we're going to put parameters on it. And this Senate Bill 1050 says that they shouldn't be used in probation, just rubber stamping it. There's a probation officer that has to spend time with me and now think about me and all the things that I share with her, which isn't really anything, just I don't know. It just seems to be supposed to be used as a tool for rehabilitation to make sure you're not backsliding, and that you're following all the mandates that these folks have put on you. And it's usually, like I said, drug addiction and assault, people that are not in control of their anger and lash out violently. They don't have any way of controlling people like Kenzie that lash out. They support, obviously, that kind of terrible behavior, that kind of pain and suffering. They're all about it in this courtroom. They're all about hurting people emotionally, financially, physically. They're all fucking about it. As long as you filed the right paperwork and paid them money, then they have a monopoly on violence and torturing human beings. So they're allowed to do it as long as Kenzie pays them to do it. And you accidentally slip up and make one mistake, then you're fucked. Our system, great, so great. Says, I forgive you for your aggressive sentencing, and would again turn you to John Locke, which I didn't have access to the internet in the last court case, in any of the court cases, but this one actually. They let me have access to do research this time, which I think was just swell of them. But the last two times I was locked in a mental institution, no access to the outside world. You get a recorded line that's free to make phone calls, but I ain't got nobody to call that wants to sit down and do a bunch of legal research for me and have me talk them through a bunch of shit and then hoard the phone for hours on end while I'm talking to somebody who's wasting their day away. Didn't want to bother anybody with that too much. I did get some people to help me out with some things, so it was great. But anyway, the point being, John Locke, I had that book, so there's a couple of the lines from it that I knew would help prove my case from a reputable source. That's what the courts need to make decisions. Reputable sources for the system to be happy. And I don't have access to legal knowledge to do it, so I could pull from philosophical minds, and I'm studying governments and how they're supposed to operate, and how successful ones operate, and what made the best ones and the worst ones fail. And we're in a failing one right now that's just collapsing before our eyes. Like, I don't know. Crumbling American society. And anyways, I had the book and used it to quote, and then he used a quote, a John Locke quote, to advise me not to fight back against the bullies, not to poke the bully back after they fucking poke you, because I mean you can take a chunk out of these bad guys. Someone that's coming after you, you can definitely hurt them back. You can definitely hurt them back in ways, but it's not the answer. And I just need to get the transcript of all of my court cases to lay out the courtroom dramas. And in this particular John Locke quote from the same book, he outlines, I don't have a direct quote because I didn't have the book, because I had access to a tablet with the information they wanted me to be able to read, and nothing else. Nothing else other than states-approved media. And fucking softcore porn they had in there too. That was interesting, but anyway, that's a whole different story. We're going to talk about the way in a different. Oh, I didn't have the John Locke quote because the internet, or they didn't let any books in that weren't purchased off Amazon. So my mom can't just show up and say, "Here's a book. Can you deliver it? Here's a board game. Can you deliver it?" No. If you want to play chess against another human being, I made one out of paper. So I made the pieces out of paper. But you could buy the chessboard for like $25. But you can't have your mom bring you one. Nope. That ain't happening. Anyway. What was I talking about? Anyway, John Locke quote. I have a memory of what his philosophy is about. I'm not one of these. I told one of the doctors that I just don't have the mind to recite. She asked me why I need my books. Why do I need my books and the research? It's like I don't have that mind to recite verbatim language. It's not a skill set that I have acquired or been blessed with. But I understand the meaning behind what they say, which is far greater, more importance to be able to articulate it in your own language than to be able to recite it in their language. But it means you understand it, where the lawyers, doctors, sometimes they don't fully understand its meanings and the implications that it has, because they just know that this piece of paper said you're not allowed to do this, and you did it, so now we get to lock you away, and we get to steal your money, and we get to harass you for a month and make sure you know that you're the bad guy and that you suck and that we don't like the way you act because you delivered a coffee machine and it broke our rules. We don't care about bringing peace to our community. We just care about tormenting the other people. That's what we care about. That's the way of Bay County. And so John Locke believed that judges should give out the minimum punishment to resolve an issue, to avoid road judges trying to make an example with maximum and unlawful arbitrary punishments. I just really like to lean on the arbitrary nature of putting certain criminals into a pen and locking them away with no direction or guidance to be productive and make their lives better. We just sat and rotted for. I got to sit and rot away for. I mean, I exercised and studied, but there's a better alternative with more direction, to not just to prevent relapses. They try with certain things. An anger management course that they required people with aggravated assault cases to take, but they just skim through these things. It's online courses, so it's like videos turned off, and then I have to let it sit there, and it's timed, so I have to make sure I spend 20 minutes with the screen on, and after 20 minutes has been up, then I take the test, and it's obvious, answers are obvious, so you're not going to fail it, so you just take the test and then you pass it. Or you get help from somebody that's already taken the test, and then they help you out, and you give them some ramen noodles back, and now you're friends. And that's just, I don't know. These places, they could be better. Let's get this done. What else did I say to this judge? I said, I think the best way to repent and atone is by acknowledging you went overboard and represent me in the appeal. I filled out a form by your courts like 3 weeks ago and haven't heard back. Thanks for your time and consideration. And there's think might have been some more in there, but that's what he should do. He's a judge. He's a judge. But to get to a judge, you had to be a lawyer, and then he's got to hear he's got to be the one that listens to every single person's story in town that has any problems, and a girl with a grudge goes and hangs out in front of him, and he goes and hurts him for him. He's the weapon, and he's got the most experience in town doing it, so he should be. What should he be doing? He should be putting me in jail. He should be putting me in jail and running experiments on me. That's what he should be doing. That's what he should be doing. And what I was doing in jail was I wrote a children's novel about how the Big Mac is poisoning our community. And people should really consider stop using the Big Mac as their source of nutrition. It's just not good for you. It's just not good for you. It's just toxic. It's toxic ass fucking shit. And I wrote a children's story about it, and then deemed it important to prepare for my next contempt of court case. And I titled it Round 2. And I got a list of things that I think I can go through, because I got experience now as being the lawyer in the court case and know how it operates, so I can play within their lines and still get my shots in. I just have to play their fucking game. Which, if you read any of my prior posts, says I think the game should just go fuck off. And they should stop playing games and just say, you're right, this is fucking ridiculous. What's really going on, so we can fucking come to a conclusion on this and put a fucking end to it. But instead, no, let's go to war and let's recruit the fucking US government to go hurt the guy I hate. That's the America we live in. I like this marketing slogan. Marketing slogan: protect and serve the system. Protect and serve the system. That's what it means. They left that part out. You see, there's not a period here. It's not a full stop. It keeps fucking going. There's more. Protect and serve. Protect and serve the Federal Reserve's interests. I am law enforcement officer, a soldier of the law. To me is entrusted the honor of the department. I must serve honestly, faithfully, and if need be, lay down my life, as others have done before me. I don't know about that. That's a lot to ask for right there. Don't fucking care about yourself or anybody else. Rather than swerve from the path of duty, it is my duty to obey the law and to enforce it without any consideration. It is my duty to obey the law and to enforce it without any consideration. What about the fucking Constitution, guys? The United States Constitution. See, I'm making eggs mad. I get mad because this is fucking bullshit. What is this? It is also my duty to be of service to anyone who may be in danger or distress, and at all times so conduct myself that the honor of the department may be upheld. To protect and serve it. To protect and serve the honor of the department, and to have no consideration for anything other than whatever a judge in some fucking legislative lawyer cunt decided to write down on a piece of fucking paper. Don't have any consideration for anything other than that. And not the Constitution. That one doesn't mean anything. So definitely don't have any consideration for that. Hey, buddy. We're just gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. Because what am I doing? What am I doing? This is two parts here. We're gonna talk about jail and then civil fucking society. That's what these people are supposed to be helping create, is to enforce the rules and regulations that our community has come to an agreement that we're going to follow, so that we can be at peace and prosper. And that's not what the city fucking does. The city is not prospering. I assure you that. I fucking assure you of it. Anyone that would want to prosper has to go somewhere to find it, because it's not fucking here. It's not fucking here. Well, I'm here. So there's some talent in this town. It's got a lot. Even one of the things I wrote in when I was locked in here that got the guys all riled up was, I was reading The Art of War, and I wrote one of the notes on it that said like the foundation of the city is strong, because the people that are in it are fucking excellent. They're just fucking led astray by whatever the fuck this is. Have no fucking consideration for anything but what a fucking judge or a lawyer fucking wrote down on a piece of fucking paper. Whether they fucking took their time to figure out what's going on and figure out what should happen, don't care about any of that. Don't consider it. Don't even consider it. She paid them money. She paid them money to do it. So I broke that. So they were just doing their fucking job. And I've been studying it. One of the goals is to pump out talent. And there's people that know what it takes to be awesome. And then there's people that are just trying to pretend to be awesome, which is most people. And so I've been studying all this stuff for a long fucking time. And I'm ready to share the things I know, and it doesn't necessarily mean I believe in it or agree with all of it. I'm just sharing the concept, and then I'm going to try to figure out how to create a structure that I do believe in. And that just takes time, so I'm in the process of building it right now. But one of the things that needs to be addressed is regulations. Like I said, they just care about these regulations, and there's too many of them. They just create more and more and more rules that they don't take away other ones, and they don't really take into consideration the grand scheme of them. They just figure there's this problem that I need to solve, so here we're just going to address it the way we know how. And it's not the way. One of the lines I liked in the book, one of the books I read, was to achieve love and will so that there is no longer any object to love or aim for will, which just made me think a lot. But the way is one of the Buddha type religion. Maybe it was Tao or something, Eastern culture. And the way was one of the books I read, and I just skimmed the ones that I liked the most. And the way is to do not think dishonestly. That's number one. Don't even think dishonestly. Don't let the dishonest thoughts come into your mind. Just shoo those ones away and stabilize on what the truth is. And if you let it out, one of the false truths out, like, try to recover it, or don't let it happen again. And the way is training. It's like, work hard to figure out how to solve these problems. They're not going to be solved overnight because you lock somebody away. They couldn't afford to pay child support, so why don't you go lock them away for 90 days? Stop the payments to the child and start collecting debt towards the government, and that's the way we do it. That's the way. They'll learn. They'll learn. Then it goes into other things like become acquainted with art and understanding the difference between gain and loss. Develop intuitive judgment. Pay attention to everything. Just pay attention to everything. I'm gonna go into detail about it. It's one of the philosophies I'm trying to wrap all into one something. But I'm gonna go into remaking the soul, the art of war, the Zohar, and the Torah. The Torah is the Jewish philosophy and book of rules on how to exist, how to live in this society. That's what the Torah is. The New Testament is the Jesus philosophy, but it's been so fucking corrupted by the Vatican, and it's just a team of gassing each other up to feel good about being forgiven for all of their sins and nonsense. It's not what it's supposed to be. The Jesus was helping people understand what the Torah really meant and how to follow it and how to live within the society as it is today. And they called it the New Testament because the Old Testament has just a ton of kill and destroy. God's unhappy, so he's punishing his people. His chosen people are getting punished all the time, and they never get to the promised land. They just get to hear about it. It's fucking the carrot that God dangles in front of us to say if we fucking are perfect, maybe we'll be able to be happy. And then he's like, fuck you, you're gonna go die on a fucking mountain, Moses. And the Zohar is the way the secret societies understand it, but it's all coded in language that's hard to decode. So I'm gonna spend time and decode it and figure out what their understanding of it is, and then we'll touch a little bit on the Quran too, which is Moses and a lot of kings and judges were the Old Testament, and then the New Testament was Jesus and his squad, and then the Quran is just the next version of how do we live in our society during the time of Muhammad. And there's been others that have outlined it, like the book I'm reading from the Christian Scientist team, and the Baha'u'llah guy out of India, and a bunch of other ones. There's just a bunch of prophets and messengers of God. It's who doesn't get tainted and who does the most interesting things. Who's fucking Muhammad proved that God existed because he made the moon duplicate. He put two moons in the fucking sky for a night or some shit. I don't remember the story. There's got to go through that book a few more times. There's a lot in it. But it's just... Anyway. I wrote this down because one of the kings in the Old Testament who wrote about the hopelessness of life, how he's conquested the world and done everything that a man could do, and there's still the emptiness inside of him or something. That whole chapter was hard to understand. But I also watch people walk around with their heads down in life, and I've been doing it, just trying to avoid contact with people. And I never used to be. I always loved just walking. I run through life. And I look, see everything, and my eyes are wide open, and I look in people's eyes, and they don't look back. They look right down at the ground or turn away. A lot of them, most of them, and they're walking through life. And I tell you, The reason I wrote it down is because I didn't hate the running part of it. It hurt. It's painful, but there's so much more to like about it. You gain so much more by pushing yourself to the limits than you do by. I mean, it's nice to walk around and relax. It's a good part of life. But when you're running through, I can cover 10 miles in the time you can walk 2 miles, and I can see 10 miles worth of this world, where you can only see 2 miles of this world. And when I do it a few times, now I can go further and further and further and further and faster and faster and faster, and get more and gain more and gain more. And some people are out there, and that's how they live life, and other people just like walking around feeling the good feels. So I want to build a team that's hustling again. And so I'm trying to outline something that's not going to fail. And different philosophies and how to heal. And the ones that I really want to focus on, that is the vibration chart, the how to understand the emotions and the energy, and then how to respond to it. So the idea on this chart is there's scale of up and down would be, vertical would be the energy strength. Like, is it low? Are you just chill? Or is it like high? Are you on fire? Or ice cold? And then from left to right, the horizontal would be negative vibration to a positive vibration. Are you lusting after, craving for something you don't have? Or are you leaning into any of those cardinal sins? Do you have hate in your heart for yourself or others or whatever you got going on? Or do you feel the abundance and the enlightening of actual true love, where you just feel the urge to give to those around you because you just know inside you have the abundance, and now you're not lacking anything? Those are two separate. People call it love because they feel the urge, the attraction to people, but that's just love language attraction. The actual love is that feeling in but it's not able to expire if it's real love and not just a lust of getting a need met, a desire, a craving met. Those are the negative vibrations. It's I don't have or I want versus I have and I want to give. So we'll dive more into that later too. And then I fucking talk about the fucking mushrooms, the fucking drugs, the fucking illegal substances like mushrooms and cocaine and the other plants that are hallucinogenic. And then I have to deal with these fucking people. Then I gotta deal with these fuckers. And they're not bad to deal with. They're not bad to deal with. I didn't mention it earlier, but the one thing I was gonna say was they thought I was a cop, like an undercover cop in there because, well, first of all, my story just doesn't check out. You're in jail for a fucking month plus because you delivered a coffee machine at 11 o'clock at night and didn't bother nobody. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. So they weren't buying it. And I wrote on, when I was reading The Art of War, on the top of the paper, I did say that the foundation of the city is strong. But it's because of the people, like the correction officers here. They were, all of them, except for a couple, were fucking, they're just great. You could tell, even the ones that it was just a job, were quite more than they needed, just enough, just as much as they needed to be, or more than they needed to be for doing their job. So that's really good to see. And then the bad ones, fucking bad ones that are in there to torment and torture and be the authority and power over people. They're the ones, they don't belong in a place like this. This place should be a correction facility with, yeah, the Chinese have the re-education camps, and that's what these places should be. Maybe not force religion out of people's minds or whatever they think the Chinese are doing it wrong, but do it the re-education camps, but do it right. And they have the structure for it. but it takes time and attention and social workers that are doing not just doing legwork, but teachers that are teaching them how to do it themselves so they can take care of themselves. Which is what I'm trying to outline: is how you take care of yourself. It's easy, but it's hard to thrive, and everyone wants to thrive and do more and gain more. So that requires a team to take responsibilities and split them up and divide them. And you can't do too much and ask for too much of yourself or others. It's one of the ways relationships are failing, is they just demand perfection, and when the imperfection comes, the feelings go away, and then the feelings turn sour because you're not getting the feelings met by the person you claim to love anymore, and so you're trying to seek it elsewhere, or they've already found it elsewhere, and then it's just destruction and chaos. And then you're hanging out with these people because somebody's got a personal protection order because one person still has feelings while another person doesn't have feelings. And it's always a guy mostly, because girls just like Kenzie's fighting with a game of make-believe. How do I get other people to hurt Luke? Because I don't like him. How do I get rid of him and then pretend she's a victim because I talked about it? And so she needs a personal protection order because I was talking about things she doesn't like me talking about. And that's how girls fight. They mind games, and the government's just more than fucking happy to play along. Not these guys. These guys are less happy to play along with it all. You could tell a lot of them would seek to have this in place not even exist. Have the people that are in here reformed and healed, so that they don't have to deal with them. They cared. A lot of them cared like that. The food was excellent. The food was delicious. I couldn't eat the fucking oatmeal. I can't fucking stomach that. I can't swallow it. It doesn't go down. I tried again. It just don't work. And the beds were just awful. Cleanliness was decent. They gave us bleach and a mop and scrub brushes every day to go at it. So it's relatively hygienic. Fucking sometimes it feels like this world is just a scene set up for me. That nobody in there was real, that they were all just... What if the government could do things in secret by putting undercover criminal informants and undercover cops in there just to harass people, knowing that when you get somebody emotionally charged, that they're going to respond and they're going to feel the need to, most of the time, talk and protect themselves with words or violence. So you're trying to trigger them into the fight or flight or freeze response, and there's nowhere to fucking run. You're trapped in there, so there's nowhere to fucking run. And freezing ain't gonna do you no good. So now that you're trapped in a small confined area, the government can prod you, can poke and prod you, and the criminals can poke and prod you to for whatever reasons they fucking feel like it. Sometimes it's just over a piece of bread, is what I understand. You don't give somebody a piece of your bread and they wanted it, well, we're gonna call you a pedophile and threaten violence on you. What else did I want to say? There was stuff. Fucking, I don't even want to talk about this one fucking person, this one fucking CEO that I fucking got into it with, because the people that are trapped in there are behaving that way to poke and prod people And I'm not necessarily against the correction officers using different techniques that strategize how to control, but not necessarily always with force, but how to manipulate the emotions so that you diffuse the situation and then start training with people and using strategies like withholding food or whatever you want to do that the government won't allow you to do because I don't know. There's just ways to keep people motivated and focused on what they should be doing versus what they are or have been doing. And when you're trapped in a place like this, it's a great time for you to be doing that. Where was I going with it though? There's this one lady. She fucking yelled. She yelled chow at 7 a.m. when food doesn't come until 7:30. And the only reason I'm really talking about it is hello. Chill out, bud. Chill out. So to identify the poison. How do you do it without being able to talk about it? I don't wanna make an example of somebody, but how do you? One of the drug sex peddlers I know says you don't fully understand something until you feel it. So you have to talk about it in a way that helps people understand it and feel it. But the point is the behavior that needs to be corrected inside the system, and not just allow it to continue on to happen. It's nonsense. So all I can do in there as a criminal prisoner, she's in the position of authority, and so I'm not allowed to do anything or say anything. I just have to deal with the fact that some lady yelled, "Get ready for chow," a half an hour before chow showed up. Was ever going to show up, and a couple other people were a little fired up about it too. And she just caught me on the right day, I guess. To when it was time to grab my food, I asked her. She's the one that yelled "chow" at 7 a.m. and she said, "Yeah." And all I did was ask her if she was proud of herself, and she did not like that. She did not like that at all. She she proceeded to fucking call me an asshole, demand that it was a courtesy, that she's doing a courtesy to everybody by screaming chow. You see, chow is a trigger word. It's like one of the only things we actually have to look forward to is chow and commissary night, where you get to order your supplies and then the day you get to collect your supplies. Other than that, you're really just locked in this place with a tablet with state-sponsored media on it, and nothing else. Nothing else. So when someone yells "chow," it makes you tingle. That your spidey senses go on. You're like, all right, I'm ready to finally eat. Fucking hungry. And she fucking knew she was out of line. That's a crock of shit. But that's why she responded the way she did. That's how you know she knows she was in the wrong. And when I can trigger somebody the way I triggered her, that's all I really can do is highlight it. I can say, "See, look at what's going on, and why are you allowing it to happen? Correct this behavior, because I'm just a criminal in there." And she called me an asshole, and then threatened to throw me in Max, which I think is just solitary confinement. We put it in a tiny box, which I was in there. I was in there for a couple of days because just got into it with a couple of meth heads and somebody that was claiming to be accused of a crime he didn't commit. Anyway. The fucking... But I was just gonna let it slide after that, after I sassed on her and she called me an asshole a couple of times. Because she said if I'm gonna be an asshole, she can be an asshole. And she's really good at it. She's really proud of it. And that's where it's the kicker is she's proud of how she can be an asshole and how she's in the position of power, and she enjoys being able to torment people and cause that torment on the soul, which we'll get into. It lasts longer than physical because the scars on the mind that re-trigger the emotional response. Because she gets to torture me with full impunity because there's no recourse, really. Because I even wrote a letter to the sergeant and the team how I'm not going to sit there and just be quiet while some lady's trying to mind torture people and gets paid. Our government dollars pay her to get off on torturing people. And I don't think it's the way. I don't think it's the way to help these people heal. And I don't think somebody like that necessarily, if they're not going to correct that behavior, that they belong there, because they're not helping anybody but themselves. And I was just going to let it slide and not even deal with it, because I was ready to get the FOIA and just really show the video of how rotten these type of women are. It's not just women, it's a lot of people, just the toxic people, like fucking Kenzie and my sister, and just whoever wants to be, whenever they fucking want to be it. But anyway, I was gonna let it go, and then she did it again the next time she was in a few days later, and she didn't have any of the same conviction that she had the first time. The first time she yelled it. It was powerful. It was prideful. It was just something good. And then the next day, it just felt like she didn't even want to do it, but almost like she was forced to do it because somebody, maybe they told her to do it to see how I'd respond, or maybe she just felt compelled to do it because her story was it's a courtesy to wake people up a half an hour before food shows up with the trigger word that food's here. When people are hungry, they want to eat. And so now she has to do it every time she's in to play the charade and play the game. And no one's got the courage to say, why the fuck are you doing that? Stop it. And I don't know. I think I've said enough here. For the process and what it wasn't that bad. People made it good. The situation sucked.